Brazil, the land of football magic, where the ball doesn't just roll, it dances, where joy is stitched into every pass, flick, and goal. In the world of football, Brazil isn't just a country, it's a vibe, a rhythm, a heartbeat, and no two players have embodied that rhythm more than Ronaldinho and Neymar. One changed football forever with his smile and sorcery. The other, hailed as his successor, was expected to carry the torch into a new era of dominance. But here's the question that echoes across generations. Who was the ultimate Samba magician? Ronaldinho or Neymar? Let's break it down. When Ronaldinho took to the pitch, football didn't feel like a game. It felt like a carnival. He didn't just play, he performed. He made defenders dance, made fans smile, and turned cold European nights into sun-drenched Brazilian afternoons with a single touch. But before he became a global sensation, Ronaldinho was just a skinny kid from Porto Alegre. A prodigy who lost his father at 8 and whose brother's football career was cut short due to injury. He played like someone who knew the pain of loss and wanted to replace it with joy every single time he touched the ball. His rise began at Grêmio, but it was in Paris Saint-Germain where he caught the world's attention. Not just because of his outrageous skills, but because of the way he made football look effortless. He was unpredictable. One moment he was sprinting past 3 defenders, the next, he was juggling the ball with his back. And then came Barcelona. At a time when Real Madrid had the Galacticos, and the Camp Nou was drowning in silence, Ronaldinho arrived as a savior. By 2004, he was already Ballon d'Or material. By 2005, he was the best player in the world. And by 2006, he had won La Liga, the Champions League, and the hearts of millions. Even Madrid fans stood and applauded him after he destroyed their defense at the Santiago Bernabeu. That's not football. That's something else. Ronaldinho's prime didn't last long. But in those few years, he gave us moments we'll never forget. Elasticos, no-look passes, toe-poke goals, and that signature smile. And the best part? He didn't just win games. He reminded us why we fell in love with football in the first place. When Neymar Jr. exploded onto the scene in Brazil, it felt like destiny. The flair, the dribbling, the audacity. It was as if Ronaldinho's spirit had been reborn in a skinnier, more modern version. Only this time with social media and global eyes watching his every step. From the streets of São Vicente to the spotlight of Santos, Neymar was more than just a talent. He was a phenomenon. A teenager doing rainbow flicks over professional defenders, scoring goals for fun, and sending waves of nostalgia through the veins of Brazilian fans who hadn't seen such natural street-style talent since Ronaldinho. His rise at Santos was electric. By the age of 19, he had already won the Puskas Award, led Santos to the Copa Libertadores, and racked up highlight reels that made people question reality. But as the hype grew, so did the pressure. Brazil wanted a new king, someone to lift them out of the post-Ronaldinho and post-Kaká era. And Neymar was the chosen one. He carried that weight to Barcelona in 2013. Many questioned whether he would survive under the shadow of Messi. But what happened next was beautiful. Messi, Suarez, Neymar was the stuff of nightmares for defenders. And Neymar? He was unstoppable. His dribbling became sharper. His creativity exploded. His decision-making matured. In the 2014-15 season, Neymar scored 39 goals and was pivotal in Barca's treble-winning run. In the Champions League knockout stages alone, he scored in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and twice in the final. That's clutch. But it wasn't just about goals. It was the flair, the joy, the confidence. Neymar was turning defenders inside out, nutmegging world-class fullbacks like they were cones, and bringing back the swagger that Ronaldinho once wore like a crown. At 23, Neymar looked destined to take the throne as the best in the world. But then came PSG. When Neymar left Barcelona for a world record €222 million transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, it felt like a power move, a chance to step out of Messi's shadow and build his own legacy. But it wasn't that simple. While Neymar dominated Ligue 1, his time in Paris was marred by injuries, controversies, and missed opportunities. In big Champions League games, he was often absent, either through injury or suspension. And while his talent never disappeared, his focus seemed to waver. There were flashes of brilliance, like PSG's run to the 2020 UCL final, but those flashes weren't enough to silence the critics. And back home in Brazil, the expectation only grew heavier. Fans wanted him to replicate Ronaldinho's 2002 World Cup magic. But injuries struck again in the 2014 and 2018 tournaments. The 2022 World Cup was supposed to be his moment, and once again, Brazil fell short. The sad truth? Neymar may go down as the most talented player of his generation to never win the Ballon d'Or. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because the stars never aligned. So now comes the million-dollar question. Ronaldinho or Neymar? Who was the ultimate Samba magician? Let's break it down. Dribbling. Ronaldinho had that unpredictable street-style magic. Neymar, perhaps more refined, but not quite as dazzling. Creativity. Both were elite, but Ronaldinho's passes came with more flair and audacity. He was the original no-look king. Longevity. Neymar has had a longer run at the top, but Ronaldinho's prime was more concentrated and more legendary. Big game performances. Neymar delivered in the UCL final, Copa Libertadores, and Olympic gold. But Ronaldinho's Champions League heroics and World Cup 2002 edge him ahead. Legacy. Ronaldinho inspired a generation. Neymar carried a generation. One was the artist who painted the canvas. The other tried to live up to that masterpiece. What truly separates Ronaldinho and Neymar might not be talent, but timing. Ronaldinho played in a football era still soaked in joy, where skills were celebrated more than stats. Neymar's era became more cutthroat, more numbers-based, more toxic. Every dive was criticized, every injury mocked, every failure magnified. Ronaldinho never had to deal with social media pressure or being compared to Messi and Ronaldo every single day. Neymar? He was supposed to be the bridge between those two and the future. That pressure, it's hard to measure. And yet, both gave us magic. Both danced to the beat of Brazil. Both made us fall in love with the art of football. If football is about joy, expression, and magic, Ronaldinho wins. He didn't have Neymar's stats or longevity, but he gave us moments that live forever. He played like a child on the world's biggest stage, and made the game better just by existing. But if football is about talent, consistency, and carrying the weight of a nation, Neymar deserves his flowers. Despite injuries and chaos, he still ranks as Brazil's all-time top scorer and gave everything he had for club and country. So who's the ultimate Samba magician? Maybe that answer depends on what football means to you. If you love the soul of the game, Ronaldinho. If you respect the struggle, the pressure, and the fight, Neymar. But one thing's for sure, Brazil gave us two magicians, two legends, two artists, and we're lucky we got to witness both of them dance.